I'm back to Tell the Truth channel. Please hit subscribe and share my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other content that y'all go on. I appreciate that very much. I am in Jesus and Jesus is in me. I'm here to speak on something that Jesus, Father, and the Holy Ghost want me to speak on. And it's got something to do with out there in the world, the way people treat people out there in the world. And this is what Jesus, Father, and the Holy Ghost is talking about. When he's telling everybody that they need to pull together. That everybody need to pull together and stop judging people and putting people down. This is what he's talking about. How you going to judge somebody when you don't want to be judged? That's the one thing y'all have to understand. How y'all going to judge somebody if y'all don't want to be judged? How y'all going to criticize other people? And then y'all have these children that go through problems. And y'all is these parents that supposed to be grown-ups. Supposed to be grown-ups. And stoop it down to your children's shoe size. When you are teaching your children to go out there and talk about other children that's going through things in their lives. When you're supposed to teach your children to respect other children as other children should respect their self and understand that they shouldn't have no right to talk about nobody because ain't nobody perfect. Everybody go through things. Everybody go through things in their lives. Everybody. Ain't nobody don't struggle in their life. Every time you have a problem in your life, you're going to have a problem because your life is not going to always go smoothly. Something always going to come into your life that's going to pull you back. And then you got to go back to get back on track. That's what goes on in people's lives. It's hard out here. It's hard for everybody out here to make it. Ain't nobody better than nobody. When you send your children to school and you have your children looking good, that's because God gave you that chance to let your child look good because he give you the money to take care of your family. And he can always take that back from you. So when you start thinking that you are moving up and doing better than somebody else, that's when God can bring you back down. That's what y'all parents got to look at. So you dress your child up one day, and then all of a sudden, your child is doing the thing, and then your child go to school and talk about somebody else because what they are doing, because what you doing for them. Or you are telling your child, oh, you see this child? You see what this child going through? You see how this child look? And then your child listening to what you saying to somebody else, which you could be talking to another parent and talking about this child because of what this child going through, because you done did the damn thing for your child, then you're going to put somebody else's child down because of what they going through. So do you realize that you can fall into that predicament that this other child is going through, that your child can go to school and end up getting talked about the same way you have your children to go back and talk about somebody else's child? Do y'all look at this? When y'all sit there and y'all tell y'all children to go out there and hurt somebody else's child's feelings, are you looking at that your child can get their feelings hurt too? The same way? That you can fall off and end up with nothing, and your child is out there in the same boat that somebody else's child is in? You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what y'all do about the people that's out there struggling in the world that God trying to lift up and help. Because y'all got a little bit of something. Y'all think that little bit of something can't be snatched away from y'all? Oh, yes. It can be snatched when you start thinking that you are better than somebody else. Because when you get your feet, when you get up and you get on your feet, don't think that your feet cannot fall back down, because it can. That's one thing y'all have to worry about, and y'all got to look at. Teach your children how to respect other children. That's what you need to do. Teach your children how to respect other children and stop thinking that they are better than somebody else, because they can wake up the next day and go to school and look worse than that other child has been looking like. Everybody goes through problems. Ain't nobody better than nobody. God didn't make none of us perfect. We all can fall and end up struggling again. So y'all parents, excuse me, y'all need to stop acting like your children's age. Stop acting your children's shoe size and start teaching your children how to respect other children. Y'all is not children. Y'all are grown parents raising children. Now raise them up as they're supposed to be raised. Do not raise them as they are what? Grown-ups when they still children. Why would you want your child to end up being grown when they nothing but little children? When they need to be learned how to respect other people. And then you wonder why it's so much bullying in schools. Because of the parents. Because of the parents and the teachers. Because y'all don't want to stand up and do the job that y'all supposed to do. Y'all don't want to do that. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to call it out. It's parents, it's children's raising up children. That's what it is. It's children's raising up children. Because if y'all was parents, y'all wouldn't be sitting up here teaching your children how to go out there and talk about somebody else's children. And the teachers would stand up and fight for these kids that's going through the things that these other children are putting these children through. Study saying, be quiet, stop talking, don't do this. Get up and do your job. Get up and do your job, teachers. Stop sitting up there and telling the kids, oh, be quiet. Stop talking. No, go to the children and find out what is going on. Why is these children gaining up in a circle talking about other children? That's what y'all need to do. That's the job that y'all need to do. Get up and find out why are these other kids are in a circle talking about other kids. And do something about it instead of telling them to be quiet and sit down, get up and do your job. Because that's what you're there for. You're not there to just get a paycheck. You're there to do your job. And parents, teach your kids to respect other children and to respect yourself. Because if you know how to respect yourself, then your children will respect other children. That means learning how to walk out there in that world and stop thinking that you got it all going on, because you don't. Because behind closed doors, you're suffering. You're suffering. So you step out there in that world and try to make people think that you got it all going on, but you don't. So when you go back in that house, you sitting in that room and you crying and you wondering how you're going to get out the debt that you are in. So you got to go out there and go to other companies and try to get yourself out of debt to make your children think that you got it all going on. But you don't. Because if you did, you would sit there and send your children to school and talk about somebody else's children because of what they're going through. Because you know what? You got more insecurity about yourself. You have more insecurities about yourself. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have to go out there in the world and try to get money to get yourself right. And then when you get right, you go out there and then you tell your children to go out there and down somebody else's child, which you are in the same situation that this other child parents are going through. You just trying to sit up there and try to, try to make people think that you doing it all, but you're not, because you're suffering. Believe that. You're suffering. When you go into that door, when you walk back into your house and you look at your house and you look at your children and you wondering how you're going to make it the next day, then you got to go out there and do whatever you got to do to get what you got to get. Yes, you're suffering, but you're not letting your children know that you're suffering, but you're suffering. And then when you sit there and you struggle to give your children what you got to give them, then you have your children to go out there and talk about somebody else's children, which you don't understand that you is worse off than the other person's parent. You don't know why other people, children, are going through what they go through. Just like nobody don't know what y'all go through, what y'all go through. That's the things y'all got to understand. Everybody is struggling out here. Times are hard for everybody. Everybody falls off. At different times, everybody falls off. Ain't nobody better than nobody. And then y'all wonder why my daddy is down here getting tired of the way y'all act with people and telling y'all to stop judging people, because y'all still judging people and teaching your children how to judge people. Do y'all understand that children have feelings too? Children have feelings too. They shouldn't have to go to school and worry about nobody else's child putting them down. They shouldn't have to worry about that. Because like I said, that child that thinking that they looking good can come to school the next day looking worse than that other child has been looking. That's the thing you gotta look at. So when you talk about somebody else and then you teach your child to talk about somebody else, just worry about how things gonna turn out for you the next day. Because what goes around comes around. Every time that y'all throw out things out there to the world, to my daddy, he catch it and then he throw it right back to you. That's what he does. So if you don't want to be in the same shoes that this other child is in, then teach your children how to respect other children, and teach yourself how to respect yourself. Because if you knew how to respect yourself, then your child would know how to respect somebody else's child. That's what y'all got to look at. Stop thinking that y'all is better than other people, because y'all not. Ain't nobody better than nobody. Everybody is going through problems. It's just happening in different times, but everybody is struggling. Ain't nobody better than nobody. And that's the thing that y'all parents and teachers need to get in y'all head to get up and do your job. And parents, teach your children how to respect other children. That's what you need to do. Stop sending them out there talking about somebody else when it can turn around and fall on your children. They can be talked about too. Because what goes around comes around. And that's one thing y'all got to get in y'all heads. To stop making things happen and get on your feet and make the world a better place for everybody. This just so crazy that the way y'all is acting. Stop acting y'all shoe size and act like a grown-up. And teach your children to respect other children. That's what you need to do. And like I said, my daddy don't like it when people go out there and then sit there and have other people talk about other people. He don't like that. Like he said, if you don't want to be judged, then don't judge nobody else. How you going to judge somebody when you going through the same situation behind closed doors? You going through the same thing. That you doing the same thing that the other parents are doing, struggling to make their children look as good as they can when they go to school. You're doing the same thing. It's just the point that you have the money at the time to let your child look good. That's the point right there. You have that money at that time because your child can go to school the next day and don't look the way that you saw them to look that day. That's what you got to look at. It can fall off in a blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye. That child can fall off and be talked about just like the next child that y'all have them sitting out there talking about. Before y'all even think about sitting in your car or on your phone at your house or on your cellular phone talking about somebody else's child, how they look and all of that, think about how your child can end up in that same boat. Think about that. Think about how you can end up and just lose everything and living in your car. Think about that. Think about the things that my daddy can do just like that. And you wonder how the heck did you get on the street? And how you gonna end up feeding your child the next day. Think about that. That's what you need to be thinking about. Where your next food gonna come. Where you gonna get water to wash your children's body and wash your bodies. Think about that. Before you send your children out there to criticize and talk about other children, think about what can happen to you in the blink of an eye. And you don't have nothing.